TT here. This is the final video of the Energywork for Immunity series. This is kind of like an extra practice opportunity for you to get some extra work in around this immune boosting, immune supporting, and energy restorative practice that we've been doing. So today I'm going to share a series of practices called Waking the Qi. These are some very simple practices that are about awakening that energy in your body, charging up, and restoring and moving energy through your body. So what we're really going to address is some particular points in our body that are important for kind of charging and bringing contact and awareness to our own body. As well as that, some kind of full body movements that are going to charge up and increase our blood flow, increase circulation, and get the tissues and your whole body structure kind of alive, awakened, and ready to do whatever it is you need to do for your day. So these are some good practices to pair with maybe some of the more gentle, calming, and restorative ones that we've done. These are a little bit more awakening and enlivening, and in that way also really supportive of our immune system. Really good practices you can do like right in the morning, or as little preludes or introductions to a longer form practice of whatever kind of movement you're doing. I often start my regular Qigong practices with some charging up exercises, some waking up the Qi. A really good way to just heighten your awareness and get the blood flowing, get the energy flowing, and start to align your body structure in a sense of this is how we're going to move, this is how we're going to focus. So we'll be doing a few of these different exercises in a series here, and hopefully after you'll feel a nice sense of being charged up, being awakened, feeling that vibration of energy. In our Waking the Qi exercises, Waking the Qi exercises, we're going to do a couple different things, in particular areas of the body that we want to focus on waking up and bringing and stimulating energy flow into are the palms of our hands, the bottoms of our feet, and around our center. So you'll see in the series of movements how we're addressing that, how we're moving the whole body to bring stimulation to those areas. But we're going to start off with the hands themselves. So there's a point in your hands in the sort of Chinese medicine system of meridians. It's called Lao Gong, and it's right kind of in between your middle and your ring fingers around the knuckles there. There's a little spot between the knuckle bones. You could feel it in your hand if you kind of research that area. This Lao Gong is a place that's a highly connective area, right? It's on what's called pericardium meridian. We've done some movements for the pericardium. The turning and gazing we did in one of the first days is for that organ structure as well. And what this point really is a place of connection. So when you shake hands with someone, when you embrace someone, but also the way we wrap our hands around anything, any object in our space, we're usually using that seat of the palm and the knuckles as a place to create a tight grip, right? So Lao Gong is an energy point all about connection, contact, and extension of energy. We're going to awaken that point a little bit using a simple practice of just stimulating flow by rubbing our hands together. So bring your hands together, rub them together. We're going to do this 3 times through of rubbing. And then after rubbing the hands for 10, 15, 20 seconds, you're going to start to feel that friction generating heat. There's other kinds of energy moving too, but that's a really very palpable way we can feel the energy is by generating that friction heat. And then we're going to clap our hands and just let your hands kind of rest out here, slightly lifted. And notice what you feel in your hands. So it could be lots of tingling, vibrating, warmth, flow, washing. Think of how you might describe what you're feeling. We're going to do this 2 more times. Rubbing the hands together, 10, 15, 20 seconds. Starting to feel all that warmth, all that energy flowing. And then clapping the hands together. And just letting them rest slightly lifted. Really observe and center on what you're feeling in your hands. And you might feel flow and stimulation, some of that tingling, vibrating, buzzing, washing, temperature change all the way through your arms. You might feel it in other places in your body. Just be aware of what you feel that maybe changes as you start this practice, where you feel it. There is no right or wrong place to notice your feeling here. You can get all of a sudden a burst of sensation in like your lower back, and that's a great indication that there's energy moving. One more time, hands together. Rub the palms, 10, 15, 20 seconds, generating that heat. And when you're ready, clap the hands, rest the arms with a slight lift, and center on all that good feeling. So that's our first waking the chi exercise, charging up energy through Lao Gong. You might be starting to feel it through the arms, into the core of your body somewhere as well. Next, we're going to do a series of 3 kind of full body movements for waking the chi and charging up energy. Next, we're going to do a series of 3 more full body movements for waking the chi and charging up the meridians. So again, these are going to involve a little bit of movement for the whole body. We're going to stay rooted through our feet, more or less. But you're going to start to notice in these movements how we're using our hips and our pelvis and our center, lower dantian area, and how we're engaging more deeply with the ground, with the floor, and making that connection to earth as well. So there's here an aspect of that waking the chi, which has to do with what's sometimes called the microcosmic orbit, which is an orbit of energy rising around your body in this vertical dimension. So up and down the back and the front of the body. We're also going to be thinking about the belt meridian, that orbit that goes around your waistline. So these are 2 particular flows of energy through our energy field body that you can kind of think of and visualize as we're doing these movements. But we're also going to be doing movements along axes, right? So we're going to do a charging up exercise where we're moving from a real vertical extension, coming down in, and one where we're moving from a horizontal extension and coming down in. And then we're going to do one that's vertical with a release, brushing the ground and gathering back up. So we'll walk through each of these exercises, starting with this vertical alignment of charging up and waking the chi. So have your feet about shoulder width apart, extend the arms up above you. We're going to breathe into this extension, so feel that breath in, allowing your ribs and your chest to lift and really lifting up towards the sky. As you breathe out, you're going to sink into your knees, let your hips sink down and back, and you're going to pull, making a fist, like you're pulling that energy from the sky, and you let your elbows drop into your ribs, and your fists come to right over your shoulders here. So it looks like this. And you might see how this movement is kind of having an effect like a spring or a pump, where we're charging and we're kind of loading energy into our center, loading down into the knees and the hips. And you're going to feel some connection through your feet as you come down. Let the weight drop down through your feet into the ground. Let your toes and your heels really stay pressed into the ground and feel your body sinking a little bit. Now, the next quality to this movement is a quality of sound vibration, which really helps us to awaken the chi. So the first movement we do here is vertical alignment. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, you can go ha. Make that sound ha, 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 ha. And as you do this movement, try to just move a little bit quicker than your natural breath rhythm. Speed up just a little bit. Ha, 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 2 more. Ha, ha. Come all the way up, breathe in, and breathe out, release the arms. Just as with our first exercise with Lao Gung, just notice what you feel after that practice. Are there any areas of your body that feel a shift, a change, more awakening, more aliveness, more flow, tingling, buzzing, vibrating, all these different qualities, different words we can use to describe it. So we're going to do our next charging up exercise is taking a wider stance. So this is along that horizontal axis. Have a wide stance here, wider than your shoulders. It doesn't have to go really, really, really far out, but it's totally up to you. Nice wide stance. Extend your arms out to the side with a pretty straight arm through the elbow. And this is going to be our position to start off with, where we breathe in, and as you breathe out, you're going to do the same kind of movement, but in this different stance where we pull the elbows towards the ribs, fists to the shoulders, and we sink down into our knees like a squat. Hips go down and back. So breathing in and out, in and out, just like that. The next quality to this, again, is that sound vibration. We're going to make a different sound this time. We're going to make the sound ho. So from this position, breathing in, breathing out, ho, 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 ho. 2 more times. Ho, ho, and release. Again, take a few moments to center on sensation, what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, what's different from before. You don't have to make perfect catalogs of your whole body. Just notice where you feel certain heightened sensation, certain places of temperature changing, movement. There's a fluidity to your energy, especially when we're charging up. We're really activating that fluid quality to our energy, where it's moving and shifting and being directed and redirected, and there can be a lot going on that you can feel. And it might also feel a little overwhelming at times, totally understandable. So that's why you can take a few moments in between each exercise to center and ground and let things kind of slow and calm down a little bit. We're going to do the third charging up of Awakening the Ki exercise, Awaken the Chi. And this one will come back to about a shoulder width stance. So this one, we're going to have a similar feeling of stretching up and then releasing down, but we're going to go even deeper, and we want to let our arms actually brush onto the ground. So in this movement, same kind of feeling, you're breathing in and stretching up, breathing out, sinking as deeply as you can go, and let your hands brush the ground. If you need to in this position, come up on your toes so you can get this low without losing balance. Go ahead and do that. If you can keep your heels on the ground, that's good too. Now here's a little detail of this movement. When we come up, you want to keep your elbows kind of stuck to the side of your body all the way up. Breathing in, stretching up, breathing out, releasing down. Let your hands brush the ground, and slowly with the elbows stuck to the side of the body, coming up again. So this is a little bit of a key here for this movement, is keeping the elbows stuck to the side of the body as we move up and down. The reason we're doing that in particular is to really align on this earth and sky axis. We want to connect down to the earth, release energy through that. We want to extend up to sky and release energy through that. And when we're keeping the elbows glued in, we're staying very kind of narrow on a vertical axis. We're not widening out. We're not extending out in front and back too much as we go. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to do it in a way that's straining or stiff. Try not to be really stiff in your shoulders as you do it. You can let your forearms and your wrists and hands be really relaxed as you move up. Just keep the elbows stuck to the side and come up. And then we're going to take a little shift and change to this movement as well. So this movement is really fun to do in class because I really enjoy the way it's taught is doing the breath both ways, right? So normally we think about kind of a releasing is an exhalation and a gathering is an inhalation, but we're going to do it both ways. So we just did it where we're breathing in with the stretching and breathing out, releasing, breathing in, gathering and stretching. We're going to reverse the breath flow. So we'll take a breath out here and breathe in here. And one more time. And release. Nice. So those are a couple different ways to wake up your chi, wake up your ki, and keep that aliveness and energy really flowing through your body in a nice way. Again, these are great practices to do as preludes to other fitness, movement, and workouts, to other energy practices. They're a really good practice for early in the morning to help set your kind of energetic balance for the day. So often we need a little boost of that yang, kind of active, directive energy in the morning to help us feel more awake and more alive. This is a great way to do that. It's actually physically, biomechanically, and energetically, there's a lot of work of balance going on in these movements. So it can be really good for that.